Cirroc, first things first, welcome to Vul-Con.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, first time in Vulcan, I'm assuming?
It is the first time.
First time. I always like to ask the guys, when they bring you down from Calgary, what's kind of going through your head as you're driving farther and farther out into the country? Is it really taking me?
That's what we were thinking. I was hoping that Ira said "Children of the Corn" and had me laughing because you see all these fields, and growing up in LA, it's mostly just big buildings and a big metropolitan. But it's a good change of pace for me to be in a more relaxed environment.
Well, definitely a smaller convention here, a little more intimate. I heard you were having a nice chat with a lot of the folks who came down to get photos, and I'm sure they appreciate that.
Yeah, well, it's better when you get a chance for me, even because I like to get to know the fans and know what they do for a living and what brought them out here and how they met their significant other. We talk about shows and details and plot lines, and it gives me a chance to get to know them better, and vice versa, as opposed to just getting herded like cattle and roped through lines and 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds. So I like it.
Well, I heard you talking to a couple of folks, 17, 18 years since the show ended, but, for a lot of us, we're watching it all the time. We see it in reruns all the time, so it's still almost fresh in our heads, but I know for you it's been a while.
It has been a while. The thing that is good about this show is that it's almost like a high school reunion every convention. So you get to see the guys that you work with on a consistent basis, at least once a year for me, because I do about 1 or 2 a year. I was out doing my life, living my life, doing other things like starting a family and business. I own a restaurant in California. And my daughter is going to be 6 in September. So
that's the strange thing now. You think of, little Jake Sisko grew up, in front of us, and you've got a family now, and like you said, a life and a business and all these other things, and it's obviously great for you, and you're not the character, but in our heads as fans, it's like, what?
Well, I wanted to experience other things outside of just being on a set and rolling cameras all day, and I had a great time doing it. Really, the guys that I've worked with and alongside are as good professionals as there are in the business. Really well thought out people, guys that have put their whole life into really materializing the concepts that we've done, and some of the unsung heroes like Michael Okuda and even Michael Pillar, who's not around anymore, share his legacy and his contribution to our show, which is pretty much his brainchild. It's a real blessing to be able to be in this family, in this community of people that are thoughtful, intelligent, well-spoken, and have a love for science fiction.
Talk a little bit about your experiences. Growing up Star Trek, shall we say? You were very young, and by the time you were done, I think you were the tallest person on set.
Yeah, I was. At the time when I started, I was the youngest person on the set. At 13, 14 years old, the only kid on the set. So it took me time to get adjusted to what to expect and being around adults all the time, and going to the bathroom and seeing Klingons and Cardassians dressed up in full makeup. But the advantage that I had, more so than I guess some of my other colleagues, is because I'm so young, my imagination is so big, and it was easy for me to imagine that I was in space and looking out into the ethers as I was walking past the velvet glass sky drapes that were outside, and I was able to immerse myself in it, and really got a chance to grow and flourish under the guidance and kind of parenting, quote unquote, that Avery Brooks really contributed to my development.
Talk a little bit about your character itself. You see a lot of times on TV shows, the kids are kind of backgroundy kind of things. You had a nice arc. You like I said, you grew up with it, and you had stories of your own. You were a very fully developed, fully fleshed out character by the time the series ended. Yeah,
when they first gave me the outline of what my character was going to be about, they said an army brat moves around from station to station, you know, lost his mom, and this kind of mentality of an army brat was one of the underlying basis of what the character was about. And also, what is important for our show was establishing the family relationship, because you know, in the Star Trek series prior to us, a lot less attention to the family. You know, everybody's kind of individually there, working on their own missions, but you don't see the relationship between parent and child, which was important for Sisko's character to really make it a well-rounded approach. You know, as a parent, you have a lot to lose when you have a child. You're protective, you're worried about your children's upbringing, and it also affects the decisions you make, you know. So I think that it was a good dynamic for us, and it allowed me to just be a kid, allowed me to really kind of not have any parameters on what I needed to do. I kind of felt open to be myself and have a good time, which is what I did most of the time.